Hello again, everyone. Here's another selection of albums I've picked up in the past month or so, and I'm going to start with Julie Driscoll, Brian Auger, and the Trinity. And this is a reissue of the original album called Open. And Julie Driscoll was a wonderful female singer, kind of a rock single with a bit of an R&B edge, British, and she had a great look about her. I don't know if you call it the Mary Quant look or whatever, but it's a very British look. And this album is actually a two-album set. The original Open album was one album, but they've put in a second album with the reissue that contains songs that were not released on the original album. Some really excellent songs like Save Me. And the second album, though, is only one side. It's much like the Johnny Winter second album, where it's three sides instead of four, or Genesis, and then the Genesis album, Three Sides Live, where it was just three sides. It's kind of a waste of a side of vinyl to do that, but it's a very nice set. Brian Auger was a Hammond organ player, kind of Hammond B3, jazzy R&B sound, really wonderful stuff. Good liner notes and stuff in here. This is an album they released called Street Noise. Came out, I think, around 1969. It's a double album. Now, Brian Auger and the Trinity with Julie Driscoll. There's the inside of the album. See, she has that wonderful look about her. And they released a lot of cover versions, too. Of, for example, they did a really nice cover version of Light My Fire on this album. Save the Country, Laura Nero's song. This is the Atomic Rooster. The album's Death Walks Behind You, which I believe is their second album. First one in North America, I think. And it features the Hammond organ keyboard playing of Vincent Crane. There's Vincent there. The late Vincent Crane. He unfortunately committed suicide back in the 1980s. And he was more famous for playing with, as the organist on Arthur Brown, I Am the God of Hellfire. This is a Canadian album by the group the Five Man Electrical Band. It's their greatest hits album. And they're more famous for the big hit single they had around 1971 called Signs. They had some other really good hit singles as well. This is Brave Belt. Now, Brave Belt is actually kind of like Bachman Turner Overdrive. There's Randy Bachman, that's Randy's brother. It's Chad Allen, who is the original vocalist of the Guess Who prior to Burton Cummings, and he was the singer on the Guess Who's 1965 hit Shakin' All Over. Now, after Randy Bachman left the Guess Who, he recorded a solo album called Axe, and he recorded two albums as the band Brave Belt, and this is the first of the two. There's Fred Turner, who also went on to join Bachman Turner Overdrive, and this album does not have the hard sound that BTO did. It's more of a soft album, but it's a very nice album, though. Carl Wilson of the Beach Boys. I think this is his second solo album. It's called Youngblood. Came out in the early 1980s. Produced by Jeff Baxter, who was in Doobie Brothers. This album is called Spitballs. Now, what I like about this album is it's kind of power pop, late 70s. It's on the Berserkly label, and the Berserkly label had many kind of power pop, late 70s artists like the Rubinoos, who are fantastic, Earthquake, Greg Kinn, Jonathan Richman. It's really, really good artists on that label for a short period of time. And on this album, they do cover versions of a lot of 60s hits, and like Boris the Spider by The Who, Just Like Me, Bad Moon Rising. This is Focus, Dutch band, Hamburg Concerto. People will remember them most for the hit single Hocus Pocus, but their albums are excellent, featuring the guitar playing of Jan Akkerman and the flute and vocals of Tis Van Leer. I think this is their 6th or 7th album. late 1970s. This album I'd never seen before. It's from 1983. I don't think it was released in North America. It's a European album. It's Manfred Mann's Earth Band live in Budapest. They do a version of Bruce Springsteen's Blinded by the Light, which was their hit single. Just a single album. This was a cool one to find. This album, you used to see it everywhere in the early 70s in the record stores. It used to be in the delete bins. It's called the Great Lost Kinks album. And this album is very hard to find now for some odd reason. It used to be very common, but now it's kind of rare and collectible. It's on the Reprise label, and it came out originally around 1972. And the last one I'll show you is another Great Lost album, one of the Great Lost albums of all time. It is a copy of the Beach Boys' Smile album that Brian Wilson abandoned while he was, after he'd pretty much finished recording it. It contains Good Vibrations. It's a follow-up album to Pet Sounds. Now, this is a copy of the original cover of the album. That's what they put in the back. They've compiled the songs, the original songs that would have been in the album, kind of in the order that they think they would have been on the album, and they've put them together here on this album. And it's very cool. They put it on blue vinyl like the sea. It's kind of a nice one. Surf's up. Thanks for watching.